the cervical trauma that he has sustained. And thanks for bringing this up about the spinal cord. That term,
I think that just came out Wednesday or Thursday, so you haven't missed anything.
Yeah, the spinal cord obliteration.
Yeah. Would that affect the trajectory analysis, though, if they are shoving 36 feet of gauze in there and opening the wound? Would you still be able to do like you described the probe?
Wound track. Let me go back now. When we're talking about the collar abrasion that I was referring to earlier,
Yeah.
And also the bullet wipe. Remember, we talked about the grease right off of the or dirt. That when that happens, when you have a round impact like that, that is traveling at such a rate that's kind of imprinted in there.
Okay.
You can still appreciate it. It'd be better, if you had it, completely intact. But wishes in one hand and something else in the other. See which one fills up first. So it is what it is. You just deal with it. But the critical part to this, and this is where people in the medical legal field come in, those questions have to be asked and answered. Come here. What did you do to the body? What heroic measures did you take to save your employer, your friend, or whatever your relationship is? What heroic, and tell me precisely what you did. I don't want to hear it in a secondary interview off of a media outlet somewhere. I want face-to-face deposition. I want you to tell me what you did.
And that'll be recorded by an investigator?
Yes.
Which means that they would present that hypothetically if they did that correctly.
All these guys right here, they're going to be called as witnesses.
Right.
Every single one of them.
And any depositions or statements they took would be presented at trial?
Yep.
Okay.
Every single one of them.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Their
out-of-court statements will not be presented at trial.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
They might be brought in for impeachment purposes, but they're not going to introduce them as evidence.
Okay. Why wouldn't they do that? I'm not a lawyer.
Because they're an out-of-court statement for the truth of the matter asserted. Now they could find some hearsay objection, a hearsay exception to that, but generally speaking, a written statement out of court is not going to come in.
Okay. All right. So obviously, once they take Charlie's body to the hospital. We actually covered on both of our podcasts together the whole miracle bullet and all that bullshit. So I won't go through that again. But he is pronounced dead. Is that the correct term?
There you go.
By the doctor. Okay.
How long do you think that would have taken? How long do you think that would have taken?
Not long, because this assessment, if what my eyes are telling me right here, not based upon anything else, if what I'm seeing right here, this would not have lasted very long once you got to the emergency room, if it did in fact last that long. And I'm talking about because again, time of death is different than time of pronouncement. Time of pronouncement's a government comment, all right? So when did he physically cease to live?
And they're going to determine that in an autopsy based on...
They could, or no, you will never be able to specifically determine that, contrary to what you see on all these television shows.
Damn it.
I know, right? Failure. What the doctor will do is, because an attorney will ask them, so if they so choose to ask this, so Doc, given this injury that you're describing here, how long would he have lived? And the doctor will throw out a number to them based upon, and you know what a lot of this is going to be based upon? This is kind of an interesting little point. When we get into doing autopsies, did you know that there are cases where we have someone, here's another $10 word for you, exsanguinates, which means bleed out. Do you know that there are times when we have cases of exsanguination where we have a hard time drawing blood? Yeah, like
because there's not enough pressure on the system?
Right.
Well, no, there's just no longer, because there's no pressure at all.
You don't have enough blood.
We don't have any blood, because normally you either go directly into the heart or you go into the aorta, which arches right here. So you go directly in there and draw blood from there. And there's many times where you can't draw any blood. And sometimes the doctors will draw a conclusion based upon not being able to draw blood. They'll say, yeah, they exsanguinated. They lost what the term that they love to use is the volume of blood loss is incompatible with life, is generally what they will say. And so they'll look at that and they'll say, yeah, we couldn't even draw blood. Now, you can go to peripheral areas, like we'll draw it from the femoral artery many times. Where else have we drawn it from? I've done some axillary draws before.
But looking at this, you think as when he arrived at the hospital, the doctor looked at him and like, guys.
Yeah, probably so. And if we are to believe what we're hearing about the cervical trauma that he has sustained, and thanks for bringing this up about the spinal cord. That term,
I think that just came out Wednesday or Thursday, so you haven't missed anything.
Yeah, the spinal cord obliteration.
Yeah.
And that really gives you an idea of the extent of the trauma. The spinal cord is fascinating in the sense that it's one of the most difficult anatomical sites to get to. I've been present where we do an entire spinal cord dissection where we remove the entire length. It is one of the most laborious things that you will ever do.
What makes it that way?
Because it's encased in the spine, and it's very difficult to get to. Because again, I hate to keep using this term, but I have no better term. The vertebral bodies are so robust and they're so odd. Out of all the other bony structures in the body, they have a very unique form to them. You have to be very careful. If they're talking about that, you've got spinal. What is it? Spinal.
They said the obliterated vertebra.
Right.
And then traumatically absent.
Traumatically absent, which means that if I'm to interpret that, what I'm hearing, that means that the actual cortex, which looks a lot like the cortex of the brain, because, if you think about, spinal cord looks like a big tail. If you take the brain out and the spinal cord at the same time, it looks like a big tail. It looks like an alien creature, That means that the cortex of the spinal cord would be gone. And also the dura, which is the case that surrounds the spinal cord. It's that the brain has a dura, kind of floats around this sac it's washed in cerebral spinal fluid. That would have to be gone as well. So that's a tremendous amount of trauma. I don't know where I was going with that, but sorry.
Well, thanks for the visual.
Yeah.
I was asking, how long do you think it took the doctor to make the call?
Not long.
Minutes? Hours?
No.
Minutes.
No, no, it'd be minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So whenever Doc makes this call, dead, as you've said many times now, the body now becomes the most important. I mean, from the beginning, it was the most important piece of evidence, but now he's officially dead. It is officially evidence.
Yep.
So I remember when I saw he was shot approximately 12:30 p.m. local time on a Wednesday. And we know that there was the flight from Utah to Arizona where we see everyone coming on the tarmac with his casket at around, I believe, 5:30 p.m. local time the next day. And within a couple days of the assassination, Erica had posted that very odd post of her over the embalmed body of Charlie, as they told us. And I remember at the time, because I remember this phone call with you, once the news reports had reported like when the family had time to be with the body and all that, we were able to determine that she was taking that Instagram video somewhere midday on Thursday, meaning approximately in the 24-hour period after Charlie had been killed. And I immediately called you and said, okay, you're telling me that the body of the wildest political assassination in recent memory was already embalmed in a casket, prepared with the suit on and everything, and out there for the family to be able to take their time with it 24 hours later, when you need to do the whole autopsy, have, the body transported to where the autopsy needs to happen. This is all like probably an overnight kind of thing. And then it has to get to that local funeral parlor to be prepared for the family. And again, I called you as someone who knows nothing about the timing of all these things, but you're someone who does. And Baron, you've raised a lot of great questions about this, about like what the fuck is going on here. So let's go through this in its entirety. And Baron, maybe you can step in and say the first spots that are a cause of concern to you as to how this could have happened so quickly and turn around like that.
So we have at 7:57 p.m. news footage of him leaving the hospital.
Gotcha.
Heading to Taylorsville, which is where the state medical examination is.
Which is how far away from
30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's traffic.
Yeah.
You're taking a line of cars. I don't know how fast they drove.
Right. Did he leave? Do you know if the body left with an escort?
Yes.
Like police escort?
Police escort,
Yeah, rolling.
the medical examiner, the transport company, everybody left at the same time.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And so I don't know how fast they were going. It would have been, 8:30, 8:45. We could probably guess when it shows up in Taylorsville. That's assuming, they never made an announcement that is when Charlie's leaving. It's just that's when the motorcade left.
Yeah.
I guess it's possible he left earlier. I don't know. So my question is, let's assume 8's right. He's dead. The doctor pronounces him inside an hour, right? Mm-hmm. So he arrives at the hospital no later than 12:40. Let's say 1:30, 1:40, he's pronounced dead, no doubt. What's happening to his body because after that? Because Erica Kirk says that he was still warm when she viewed the body, and she didn't get there till 4 o'clock. So what's happening in that couple of 3 hours?
So where did she visualize the body in the hospital?
Which room?
Yeah, was he still being held in a treatment room at that point in time?
I don't know that that's ever been stated. But she said he was still warm. So
it's highly irregular to hold a body in a treatment room for 3 hours.
Where else would he be if not a treatment room? And that would be cold.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just leave him out on the side.
Yeah, I mean, and again, unless they're making a special exception here.
Okay. So, but that's something that you would want to know the answer to.
Oh, yeah. I want to know what's happened to the body. As a matter of fact, if I'm with the ME, I don't want any of the staff members. I don't want anybody touching the body, and I'm rather cold that way.
Well, we know the ME's van or truck showed up at like 4:50. We have news footage of it rolling in.
Yep.
It's possible someone from the ME's office came in advance of that ME vehicle, but we know no later than 4:50.
Let me stop you right there real quick. Do we know if this ME van, is this a contract livery service or is this an official state medical examiner vehicle?
That vehicle is an official vehicle, but the body was transported by a contractor.
A livery service that is contracted by the state to do this. And that's very common. So here's one of the problems that you run into with hospitals many times is that they put a body in a morgue pack, which is like they can either use a plastic wrapping, which I hate, to wrap a body in. That's called a morgue pack, or they can have their own body bags that they'll use. Generally in hospitals, they're white most of the time, and then they take them back to their cool room, or if they actually have a morgue. Some hospitals don't have morgues. They have what are called cool rooms, and they pull the temperature down in there, and just for short periods of time, they'll hold the body there. I don't feel particularly comfortable with the fact that they would pronounce death and then leave his body in there for a protracted period of time. Because anybody that studied biology, you know that the longer you leave a body out, the body begins to turn. That they held the remains out because, and I don't know who else is coming in contact with the body. You see? I don't know.
A chain of custody issue.
Yeah, that's a major problem, man. All it takes is some person in the hallway say, "Hey, guess what? Charlie Kirk's in there."
Right. Thank you guys for watching the episode. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on the video. They're both a huge, huge help. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram and X, those links are in my description below.